I travel a lot, but one of the places I've never visited that has always been on my bucket list was Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is an island in the Caribbean, and it is a commonwealth of the United States. We landed in San Juan and then went to our hotel. We stayed at the Dreamcatcher by DW. It is nestled in the Ocean Park's charming beach neighborhood, and it was only 1 block from the beach. After we got settled in, we headed to the beach for that afternoon. That evening, we made our way back to the hotel and saw the hotel at the evening. They had a great community kitchen, and the place was just quaint and nice. The next morning, we headed out to El Yunque National Forest. It is the only tropical rainforest in the U.S. National Forest System, and it is located in Puerto Rico's northeast region. There were many tropical plants and waterfalls and streams, and it was just a beautiful place to visit. We had a guide, and after we went on this hike, the only way to get down was to go down this crazy and amazing water slide.
Let's go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, yes.
After we made it down the water slide, we then headed over to the rope swing, and that was pretty fun to do as well. The next thing we did was the cliff jump, and I couldn't believe that Eric actually did this.
Yes.
Tashmina Mimosa Pudica. 1, 2, and 3. Woo! That's pretty cool.
After finishing up all those activities, we headed back on the trail back to our vehicle. And we continued to see some interesting plant life along the way, and also some wildlife. We then headed for some lunch, and we had mofongo and fish tacos. And if you're in Puerto Rico, you have to eat mofongo. In the late afternoon, we headed to Fajardo. This is an area where there is a bioluminescence bay. There are only 5 bioluminescence bays in the world, and 3 of the most famous are in Puerto Rico. We visited Laguna Grande, and it was a pretty cool experience. The next morning we got up and I talked my wife into walking from our hotel, which was in the Ocean Park area, all the way to Old Town. It was about a 5-mile walk, but the scenery on the way was amazing. We stopped for many places by the ocean to take pictures, and just walking through the city was just beautiful. We walked by their Capitol building, but eventually we made it to Castillo San Cristobal. That is a famous fort in San Juan, and we spent a couple hours just walking around this historic place. As you can tell, it was a pretty windy day, and you could just hear the wind in all the pictures and videos that we took. We then left San Cristobal and headed to El Morro. El Morro is probably the most famous fort in all of San Juan and all of Puerto Rico. And if you're in San Juan, this is a place you have to see. can also leave the fort and go down, way down by the ocean, and there is a walkway that takes you around all the walls of the fort. The walkway is probably about 3 miles total, but the views down there were amazing. After we left the El Moro area, we went into Old Town, and there's just some beautiful places there for people to see. We just happened to go by a farmer's market and had to get some fresh squeezed lemonade. We stayed in Old Town until that evening. We had some supper and then headed back to our hotel. We loved our time in Puerto Rico.